You're watching ABC 7 News at noon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping our news today at noon, new developments in a local murder case that gained national attention. Joseph Smith, the Sarasota man convicted of kidnapping, raping, and murdering 11-year-old Carly Bruscia back in 2004, could get a resentencing as soon as next fall. ABC 7's Jess Dowdrick was in court this morning for Smith's latest hearing and joins us now in the studio. Jess.
Scott, Joseph Smith was originally sentenced to death by a jury, but now the Florida Supreme Court has ordered that any death penalty sentences that weren't decided unanimously by a jury must be thrown out and a resentencing issued. That's what happened here with Smith. Smith was not in attendance at today's hearing. However, his attorneys pushed for a resentencing date of February in 2020. The prosecution said they were okay with that. However, Judge Charles Roberts was not. Roberts ruled that 1 year was plenty of time to prepare for a resentencing hearing and temporarily scheduled the resentencing for October of 2019. Now that date could change depending on the progress meetings that Honorable Roberts scheduled monthly with both the defense and the prosecution. I did ask where Smith is being held today. He's in the Department of Corrections. Scott.
All right, Jess, thank you. New at noon, new information involving the search for a suspected killer in Sarasota County. Sarasota County Sheriff's deputies say 31-year-old Daniel Davenport was spotted in Orlando as early as yesterday, driving 55-year-old Sergio Hostin's SUV. Investigators believe Davenport killed Hostins last week. Hostin's remains were found at a home under construction in Collier County 1 day after he was reported missing. Davenport had been living in the Fairway Oaks condominiums in Sarasota while Hostins was in an apartment complex off of University Parkway in Sarasota. People who live nearby are worried.
Being that I have 6 children living in my home, I'm very scared. I'm worried.
Kind of frightening. Make sure, I don't know, to keep a lookout and keep everything locked up.
Deputies say Davenport has 8 prior arrests, including domestic battery by strangulation and fraud. They believe he was driving the victim's green Subaru Forester that has Florida license plate number IE801K. If you have any information, call the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office. President Trump and First Lady are now back from the storm zone in the Florida Panhandle, where they met with first responders and saw the widespread devastation. ABC's Will Carr has more on the recovery efforts in Panama City.
President Trump praising the federal response after seeing Hurricane Michael's path of destruction up close.
We are doing more than anybody would have ever done.
But 6 days after the storm ravaged Florida's Panhandle, many Panama City residents remain haunted by the memory.
I thought I was going to lose my husband because the door was cracking.
Jackie Lane and her family rode the storm out on the second floor of this motel. That floor now gone.
We've lost everything. I mean everything. And we lucky to have our lives. Lucky to have our lives.
In Mexico Beach, many homeowners returning to see the damage, including Dr. LeBron Lackey, who watched helplessly from a live surveillance camera when the storm made landfall.
What was going through your mind?
Oh, I was nauseated. I was watching the corner of the roof buck like an airplane wing.
But this morning, surrounded by eviscerated properties, Lackey's house virtually untouched thanks to concrete walls and custom windows. His home, hurricane-proof.
We didn't really pay attention to codes as much as survivability.
Overnight here in Panama City, we caught back up with Jackie.
So we brought you guys some water and some food.
Thank you.
She's staying in a home that's covered in insulation and filled with stifling heat.
You have no power, it's dark.
Yeah, no showers. Yeah, pretty much nothing.
President Trump was just here. If he's listening, what do you want him to know?
I don't want it to be like Katrina. I just hope he really keeps his word on how he feels about his people and he comes and helps us.
Will Carr reporting there. More Venice firefighters plan to head to the hurricane disaster area. A team of 4 will replace a unit that's already there, and they're not going empty-handed. They'll bring non-perishable donations for storm victims. If you'd like to contribute, bring those items to Venice City Hall or the fire station on Laurel Road. They're also collecting cash donations at Fire Station 2 on East Venice Avenue. The Holmes Beach Police Department is partnering with Manatee County Search and Rescue to be a drop-off location for supplies for the Panhandle. They're looking for non-perishable items like duct tape, tarps, cleaning supplies, diapers, personal hygiene, and feminine products. First responders also need pants and boots. The group plans to deliver all those items this weekend. And this is probably a sight for sore eyes in Panama City. Waffle House has parked a food truck curbside and is giving away free food to Hurricane Michael victims again for a second day in a row. Waffle House getting the word out by sharing this photo on Twitter using the hashtag scattered, smothered, and recover. That would be a welcome sight if you're up there and haven't had a hot meal in a while.
Yeah,
I
bet it
would. Case
would.
for a lot of people.
Right, right. A lot of workers too that are,
Yeah,
that
that's
are
true.
up there that'll be there for a long time. We're looking at some pretty quiet conditions around here. Hot. Yeah, I know.
So much for that taste of fall.
Oh man, that was so nice, wasn't it? Saturday morning, temperature in the 60s. That was great. Yeah, it's just kind of a cruel little tease, I think, because certainly we're back in the heat all week long. Taking a look at the Sarasota Bay webcam put into motion, you can hardly tell it's in motion except for the angle of the sun off the little wavelets that are out there. A few fair weather clouds, but nothing to speak of. We have some dry air aloft. We have a sinking dome of high pressure sitting over us, and that's really going to stop the rain from falling. Satellite view shows this pretty much wall-to-wall sunshine across the entire state today. A few fair weather clouds, but that's about it. Titan radar clean as a whistle. You're not going to see much in the way of rainfall today, only warm temperatures. Daytime high comes in at about 92. Will be pretty close to a record. Unlike yesterday's record high, which was in the mid-90s, 96, today's record high is only 93. So we're going to be pretty close to getting maybe even a tie on that. We'll see how it plays out. But even so, the rain chances are not going to be all that great despite the warm temperatures. The air aloft just too dry to sport much in the way of showers. We'll put in about a 10% chance of an isolated shower. That's about it, though, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. An update now in Venice, Myakka River Park. Sarasota County reporting that the park is now back open after being closed due to flooding earlier this month. Staff reports the dock at the facility is now safe and accessible, and the park will continue to be monitored daily by county staff. A museum that has sat vacant along Sarasota's bayfront for 5 years will now be demolished. Sarasota City Commissioners voting 3-2 last night to fund up to $200,000 toward knocking down the former Gee Whiz Children's Museum as part of the master plan for the Bay Sarasota project. City officials say it's costing more than $40,000 a year to maintain that building, and no one has come forward to rent it since the museum closed in 2013. The last remaining Sears store on the Suncoast is among the 142 locations that will close by the end of the year. The local Sears is at DeSoto Square Mall in Bradenton. As we first reported yesterday, Sears is declaring bankruptcy because of massive debt load and staggering losses. Now the store is set to close. We'll have liquidation sales starting immediately. Well, we could be just hours away from someone winning a record-breaking Mega Millions prize. The Mega Millions jackpot currently stands at $654 million. That's just $2 million short of the lottery's record and the fourth largest lottery prize in U.S. history. The grand prize for tonight's drawing has grown so big because no one has won since way back on July 24th. This week's Powerball is an almost equally impressive jackpot of $345 million. The next Powerball drawing set for tomorrow. Still to come in your Suncoast News, why drug makers may have to start listing prices for their products in television ads. And some tips on how you can beat the cold and flu this season.
It's rainy season on the Suncoast. Storms can pop up at a moment's notice. Sometimes it's just rain. Sometimes it's much worse. When there's the potential for severe weather, you need to know fast. Trust ABC 7 First Alert Weather to get you the information you need right away. We focus on the storms that impact where you live, and we're committed to alerting you with important information as soon as we get it. When severe weather strikes, trust ABC 7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
For the best car buying experience, go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota, where you always get better prices and a bigger selection, like KBB's 2017 Best Buy Award overall winner, the Chrysler Pacifica, for just $22,999. Or save big and get the new Chrysler 300 Touring with an MSRP over $30,000 for just $21,999. That's a savings of over $8,000. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota today.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Blue 32! Blue 32! Hot, hot! It's the Gatto Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gatto dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gatto location near you or visit Gatto.com.
Gatto's got it.
From the moment she walked in the door, we stopped having to go to the pharmacy. Certain prescriptions, my health plan or the pharmacy wasn't even able to get here. And hospice provided them, and all we had to do was call up, and the next thing they know, there was another, a delivery.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Yeah, so we are on the way to cracking the 90 mark, no doubt about that. We're at 87 degrees already with a feels-like temperature of 96. Once again today, we're going to see a feels-like temperature that's close to the 100 mark. Thanks in part to the dew point. The dew point at 75. We have 96% relative humidity and a strong east wind. As we go through the afternoon, we have only that minimal chance of a shower. Daytime highs topping out around 92, well above average for this time of year. We should be at about 85 or so as an average temperature. So we're running 5 to 8 degrees above average. And we have been above average for so very long now, over a month. As we head through the evening hours, we'll see the temperatures fall off, but maybe not quite as fast as we normally might at this time of year because of that higher dew point value. Taking a look across the region, we're not seeing a whole lot of activity here. There are some showers down to the south of us, but really they're few and far between, and I think a lot of what you're seeing here too might be some military chaff caused by some exercises down in the Keys. That's what radar seems to indicate from some of those showers, but some of them are real as well down there. There's about a 30% chance of showers down through the Florida Straits. High pressure, the dominant weather feature for us. That easterly wind blowing around the underbelly of that system. It's a dome of sinking air, which doesn't allow the clouds to rise too terribly much because of that sinking air aloft. Doesn't allow for many updrafts to build. We have a frontal boundary back to the west, which has stalled little areas of low pressure kind of ripple along it like cars on a railroad track, producing these showers that we see that lift off to the north and to the east, but kind of hug that frontal boundary. We stay in this high pressure ridge for several days in a row. That provides us with those very warm afternoon temperatures. Day after day after day with little chance of rainfall, just as we have today. We may have a chance at seeing one or two of those showers work by, mostly down in the southern tip of the state because of this dry air indicated here by tan aloft. Mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, the air is too dry to support showers, plus you've got the sinking air not allowing those thermal updrafts. So the combination of all those things together producing warm but dry conditions for the next several days. Now, eventually, we might get a little bit of a backdoor cold front through here, which will take what little moisture we have and give us a little bit of an enhanced rainfall chance, but that's probably not going to happen until we get to Thursday or Friday, more likely. And then maybe a stronger cold front coming our way toward the beginning of next work week. Few scattered showers riding on that easterly wind flow produce a chance of showers for our area. A thunderstorm is not out of the question, but the chance of a thunderstorm is pretty low today. Nevertheless, if you are looking for thunderstorms, our coast is the place to be because you're not going to see any over on the other coast. This is the thunderstorm outlook from the Severe Storm Prediction Center. And while we don't have any areas in these darker greens, yellows, or brighter colors suggesting severe weather, we do have thunderstorms throughout the deep south and the west coast of the state of Florida. Nothing on the east coast, maybe a shower or two there, but no thunderstorm potential. And as I said, our thunderstorm potential is pretty low. Taking a look at the tropics, things pretty quiet in the open waters down by South America. Or Central America, we do have some showers in progress and a little area of low pressure that continues to press westward. Now, it's given a 40% chance over 2 days and a 40% chance over 5 days, but really it's only over the next 12 to 13, 14 hours that we have that 40% chance. As the center moves over Belize, the whole thing falls apart. So this is not an issue for the state of Florida, but it could produce some pretty heavy rainfalls in Central America. South wind at about 5 to 10. Forecast for today calls for that 92 as a daytime high with scant rain chances. Backdoor cold front comes through on Friday with a slightly enhanced chance of rain, and then another cold front comes through on Sunday with, well, some slightly cooler air anyway. At least it'll take us down to seasonable. Back to you.
All right, John, thank you. In today's Health Smart, a move that could make it easier for patients to know drug prices up front. The federal government wants to force drug makers to disclose prices for prescription medicines in their TV commercials. The law would apply to brand name drugs that are covered by Medicare and Medicaid programs. The drug industry's main trade group says it's willing to disclose the prices on their websites, but not in commercials. But government officials say putting prices on a website is not the same thing, and patients deserve to know. Fall has arrived here on the Suncoast. The seasonal shift doesn't always bring cooler weather, but it does bring seasonal sicknesses like cold and flu. To prevent catching and spreading illness, take these easy steps. Wash your hands often and keep hand sanitizer handy. Cover your coughs and sneezes with your arm and always wash your hands afterward. Stay home when you're sick until you are fever-free. And finally, flu vaccinations should be completed by the end of October, but it's never too late to get a flu shot. October is the month when we're surrounded by spooky and scary weather, whether it's TV shows or costumes and decorations in stores. But when it comes to our little ones, how scary is too scary? Well, doctors at the Cleveland Clinic say each child is different, which is why it's important for parents to know what their child is afraid of. It's best to prevent a situation where younger children are seeing things they're not ready for, because scary images can be very disturbing for small children.
You know your own child better than anybody, and every child is unique. Most of the time, by the time they reach school age, they know how to separate fiction from reality. So up until then, you should be very guarded in what they see in terms of Halloween.
You have a teen or a preteen who feels pressure from friends to attend haunted houses this time of year. Maybe they're not into it. Have a plan to support them if they need an out in those types of situations. Something's already sizzling over there in the kitchen. Let's get now and check in with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher. Hello, Judy.
Hi there, Scott. Well, I'm hoping the temperature is going to be a little cooler come Thanksgiving, but it's time to start testing new recipes. Every year, I kind of warn our viewers, this is how I do it. I try 1 or 2 new recipes to enhance the experience on Thanksgiving. Especially for our viewers, I'll have many new recipes that I love to try. But I've already practiced a few times, so here's the time where you might want to take this recipe, make this sourdough and sausage and kale stuffing, see what you think, and then you'll know if you want to adjust a little bit or do a different recipe for your family Thanksgiving. It's pretty easy, it's very flavorful. You can use some leftover squash in there as well, some bright Granny Smith apples, bring in the extra flavor of fall, and we'll pull it all together and bake it in a bread pudding style. So stay with me throughout the hour. I am bringing you a delicious red onion, kale, and sausage stuffing with sourdough bread.
Honda, I like it.
Your last chance for 2018 Honda Accords on sale is now during our model year-end sale. Drive new Accords for just $249 a month. Get an Accord, the North American car of the year, for less than the competition. With more standard features than Camry, Honda Sensing, multi-angle camera, turbocharged engine, and more. New Accords, just $249 a month. Your last chance for Accords, all on sale this week at your local Honda dealer.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here.
Why, you don't like my hair? The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds.
No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm gonna show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch the Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real.
You can recover.
It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
The world is a beautiful place again.
Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
Now to Australia, where Harry and Meghan's tour is in full swing on the heels of their baby announcement. They're visiting koalas, greeting crowds, and paying tribute to Princess Diana in a special way. ABC's James Longman is with the Royals in Sydney.
The first day of Harry and Meghan's Australia tour and a first mention of their new royal baby from the Prince.
We also generally couldn't think of a better place to announce the upcoming baby, be it a boy or a girl.
A day crammed with activities as the couple starts their grueling tour, and they weren't greeting just people. Harry getting very up close with Ruby, the koala mum, whose Joeys are named after Harry and Meghan. Meghan choosing an Australian designer for her first dress of the tour, Karen Gee, in a style called The Blessed. The designer's website crashing moments after Meghan was first spotted. The Duchess all smiles as she and Harry met Australia's Governor-General and his wife, who gifted them a toy kangaroo and tiny Ugg boots. And at Sydney's iconic Opera House, huge crowds gathered in anticipation of seeing the royal couple. Twins Willow and Grace waiting for hours to see the couple.
And she's got a baby now.
Yeah, it's kind of cute.
This tour is going to be a bit of a baptism of fire, certainly for Meghan. We're talking 76 engagements over 16 days.
And in tribute to Princess Diana, Meghan wearing a pair of butterfly earrings and a bracelet from Harry's mother. And a poignant moment, Harry reuniting with 98-year-old war widow Daphne Dunn, who he's met twice before, searching for her to introduce her to Meghan.
And hopefully the next time we see you, we'll have our little one with us.
That's James Longman reporting from Australia. Let's get back to the kitchen now and check in again with Chef Judy. Judy?
Well, I'm so excited. There's going to be a royal baby watch. Okay, so let's get started with our sausage stuffing. We're using sourdough bread, and I really like that that little taste to it. It gives it a little flavor profile in the sourdough. So I have sweet Italian sausage. A lot of people like to use the country breakfast sausage for their stuffing, but I'm a big Italian sausage fan. I find the hot is just too darn spicy for this particular dish because you don't want to overpower the acid that you're getting from the turkey. So normally you can even brown the sausage in the oven in your dish, but just to get it kicked in a little bit more, I started. So I've cut up some red onions in big pieces. I was scanning, of course, recipes in different magazines, and I thought that makes a lot of sense to roast it like that instead of dicing it up. And that's normally how my mom always did it, was to dice up all the vegetables and cook those. But we're going to go this way, and I'm putting in the fresh thyme. Now, you always want to make sure you have Bell's poultry seasoning. And in fact, our chief engineer here came in this morning to make sure that I had my Bell's ready to go for that. So I do. And then I'm going to add a little crushed red pepper, and just a little bit. Going to give it a little pop. I'm going to dot this with butter. Now, this is a great time if you have any leftover butternut squash or acorn squash. By all means, uncooked, you can go ahead and cube that, and you'll see in the batch that's already in the oven, I have some. So we're going to take about a half a stick of butter and just dot it. This pan is heavily greased with butter as well, and this is the time of year you want to spend the extra money for sure on Irish butter or French butter. So we're going to put this in the oven to roast for about 20 minutes. I'm going to pull the pan out. I'm going to add the kale just for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll make this egg batter that we're going to use for the sourdough bread. Now, you want to pick up a nice hearty loaf of sourdough, and better to pick it up a day or two early because you want it slightly stale, and then it's going to soak in that mixture of the eggs and chicken stock. So when I come back, let's add the Granny Smiths and some kale, season it up, and get ready for the first taste of Thanksgiving, even if it feels like 100 degrees.
Rugs as Art. You know the name, you know the building, but do you know what's inside? Yes, Rugs as Art is Florida's #1 area rug superstore, but there is so much more. Amazing furniture, accessories, and art. All this and more. Come see for yourself. You'll love our personal touch and be pleasantly surprised by our affordable prices. Rugs as Art and more. There is so much more to explore.
Like no other. So why should your choices be ordinary? Ghibli, the absolute opposite of ordinary.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
There are lots of people who are confused about which Medicare plan is right for them.
Hey, that's me. I barely know where to start.
Well, start here with me, Karen. I'm a licensed Humana sales agent.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Karen. I'm John Smith.
Hi, John. At Humana, we know you're unique, so you have different needs from other John Smiths.
Yeah, I've always thought so.
And together, we can find a plan that's right for you.
Great. I go to the doctor a couple of times a year, and I have some prescriptions, but I'm never fully sure of what's covered and what's not.
With Humana's all-in-one Medicare Advantage plans, you get coverage for hospital stays, doctor visits, and Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable and sometimes no monthly plan premium.
Do you have any more information?
Sure. I'll get a decision guide in the mail to you today. They're free.
Finally, someone who understands the real me.
Your health and happiness is important to us. Call or go online now to get your free decision guide. Call a licensed Humana sales agent today.
The ABC7 First Alert weather app just got even better. It's easy to use once you download it. First, tell the app to follow you, so you get alerts pinpointed to exactly where you are. Then customize your settings with all the places you go, from the beach to grandmother's house. Get accurate alerts for everyone you care about. You can even pick which weather alerts and categories you want and what they sound like. More ways to customize and more ways to keep your family safe. Download the ABC7 First Alert weather app today.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
ABC 7 News at 7, weeknights.
This is nothing I've ever seen in my 20 years of law enforcement.
Coming up, a teenage girl who vanished after her parents were found dead in their home may have been spotted in South Florida. Plus, Saudi Arabia may be preparing a report that would admit a missing Washington Post journalist was killed as a result of a botched interrogation.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 12:30.
Welcome back. Our top story at 12:30, the international crisis involving a Washington Post columnist who vanished after entering the Saudi consulate in Turkey. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is now in Saudi Arabia meeting with the king, and this afternoon there are reports the Saudis may admit they were involved. Terry Moran is tracking the story at the White House.
This morning, America's top diplomat has arrived in Saudi Arabia on a mission to get answers and manage a crisis. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is meeting face-to-face with Saudi royalty to try to determine what happened to Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi. The meeting is happening on the heels of this raucous scene outside the Saudi consulate in Turkey. Turkish authorities roping off the area near the building as they begin their search over Khashoggi's disappearance. ABC's Ian Pannell was there outside the consulate as Turkish authorities moved in.
Well, completely chaotic scenes here in Istanbul outside the Saudi consulate. This is the moment we've been waiting for as Turkish prosecutors and investigators finally turn up to find out what happened 13 days after Jamal Khashoggi disappeared.
But just hours before, a cleaning crew seen here entered the consulate ahead of the investigative team's arrival. Khashoggi was last seen here 2 weeks ago, entering the consulate to get paperwork for his marriage. He was never seen leaving and has been missing ever since. Turkish authorities reportedly claim they have tapes proving he was interrogated, tortured, and then murdered. And there were mysterious arrivals the night of the disappearance. Flight records obtained by ABC News show 2 private planes from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, arriving in Istanbul and departing the same day. Turkish officials allege those planes carried a 15-man Saudi hit squad, while pro-Saudi media claims they were, quote, simply tourists. Reportedly, the Saudi government is now ready to admit there were Saudis involved in the journalist's death, the killing resulting, they reportedly say, from an interrogation that got out of control. President Trump has vowed to find out what happened.
We're going to try getting to the bottom of it very soon.
He spoke with the Saudi king on Monday by phone.
The king firmly denied any knowledge of it. He didn't really know. Maybe, I don't want to get into his mind, but it sounded to me like maybe these could have been rogue killers. Who knows?
That's Terry Moran reporting. Well, ahead of her departure at the end of the year, U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, is stressing the importance of fighting violent extremism. Haley spoke to members of the Defense Department at the Library of Congress last night. She said it was important to use both military and diplomatic means in the fight against extremists who use violence. She added some regimes are increasingly using counterterrorism as an excuse to target religious minorities and engage in ethnic cleansing. She said the fight is real and urgent.
Many of you represent nations whose people have been the victims of terrorist attacks. Americans certainly know all too well the pain of such attacks. It is an issue that unites the civilized world.
Haley announced her resignation a week ago. She'll leave her post by the end of the year. Police say a girl resembling a missing endangered Wisconsin teenager, the subject now of an Amber Alert, has been spotted in Miami. Authorities have been searching for 13-year-old Jamie Kloss since early yesterday after her parents were found dead in their home in Barron, Wisconsin. Miami police say a witness reported seeing a girl fitting Jamie's description in a black Ford Explorer with 2 well-dressed bearded men at a gas station yesterday afternoon.
We have a 13-year-old girl who's vanished, and we need to get a hold of her to make sure she's okay.
Deputies responding to a 911 call found the bodies of James and Denise Kloss around 1 a.m. Monday. Sheriff Fitzgerald says gunshots were involved, but he stopped short of saying that's how they died. A developing story in Columbia, Tennessee, where one woman and her four of her children were found dead. Sheriff's deputies responded to a call at the house around 6 o'clock last night. Deputies say a family member came home and discovered the bodies of the woman, 3 girls, and a boy. Investigators say there appears to be no suspect in this shooting, but stop short of confirming a murder-suicide. Deputies say they have not had any previous calls from the family's home. The entire Southern California area is on a wildfire watch. The Santa Ana winds, which are notorious for fueling wildfires, are kicking up. Some trees and power lines have already been knocked down. And because of high winds, 2 major California utilities have taken the rare step of cutting power to customers, and a third power provider is considering doing the same. The region is on alert now through tonight. Those strong winds, low relative humidity, and warm temperatures can combine to fuel life and property-threatening fires. Those winds, sort of a natural phenomena that happen this time of year usually, huh?
Absolutely. All the time. In fact, it's funny that they have some kind of winds in different parts of the world. And I have read, don't know if it's verifiable because I don't speak French, but I have read that there was a time in French legal history when the warm winds were a justifiable homicide, a reason for justifiable homicide in the courts because they made people so uncomfortable that they did wild things. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can do that, I guess. We have across our region today warmth, but no real winds to cause those warmth. We just have warm temperatures caused by an easterly wind and a very strong sun without much impediment within the form of cloud cover across the region. Certainly not going to get any cooling rain showers around this afternoon, at least not many of them, maybe an isolated shower, but that's about it. Take a look at those clouds that are forming from the Lakewood Ranch webcam, and you can see very not much loft to any of those clouds, pretty flat and just not much loft to them, and that's what it's going to be throughout the afternoon. You know, we have some very dry air aloft, which is causing, well, not only a lack of widespread large echo cloud patterns, but also very little echo on radar as well. So just not a lot of rain out there under those few clouds that are forming. We'll look for about a 10%, that's it, chance of rainfall around here today. With a daytime high that tops out way above average by about 5 to 8 degrees, coming in around 92. Pretty close to a record, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. The City of Venice is holding a meeting to discuss red tide. That meeting is open to the public to answer questions. The meeting set for next Wednesday, October 24th at 1 p.m. at Venice City Hall. There will also be a number of presentations on the red tide bloom and its impact. The winner of next month's governor's race in Florida just got even more important to future generations. The state Supreme Court ruling the next governor, and not Governor Rick Scott, should have the right to replace the 3 retiring justices on Florida's highest court. Governor Scott was hoping he'd have the power to do it, but now it's going to be either Republican candidate Ron DeSantis or Democratic candidate Andrew Gillum. A former USF political science professor says the last time such a scenario happened in Florida was in 1994 when Jeb Bush and Lawton Chiles ran for governor. Dr. Susan McManus says back then it was only 1 retiring justice and the selection was handled much differently.
But Chiles and Bush had gotten together knowing there was a vacancy and agreed on the same person. Very few people recognize that that was done when the same kind of occurrence happened years ago.
McManus says having the power to choose 3 new justices will allow the winner of the governor's race to have the opportunity to swing the majority of the court in their political direction. The Sarasota County Supervisor of Elections Office is getting ready for next month's general election. The office testing the county's voting and tabulating equipment this morning. Florida law requires the Supervisor of Elections to conduct a public test on a random sample of the county's automatic tabulating equipment and reporting software that will be used on Election Day during early voting and then counting the mail-in ballots. The test makes sure the equipment and software are working and recording accurately.
This is just one more step in the security of elections. You saw all the different seals and things that we have and serial numbers on the machine that are tamper resistant to make sure that we know when we put those out in the field that if anyone tries to go into that machine in various areas, they would have to break one of the tamper-resistant seals, and we would know that that would happen. So it's just one more step in the process of security. At our warehouse facility, we do a test of every piece of voting equipment that we have in Sarasota County, so we know that all of it is working properly before we take it out in the field.
The county canvassing board, made up of a county judge, chair of the county commission, and supervisor of elections, along with some Sarasota County residents, were all at today's voting equipment test. The Wildlife Center of Venice is asking for help. The center is in desperate need of both dog and cat food. It could be either wet or dry food, and according to the center, the wildlife it cares for is not fussy about the brand. The center takes in more than 4,000 animals a year, and it relies on the community support to care for them. Northport will begin maintenance work on the splash pad at Atwater Community Park tomorrow, and if weather cooperates, the splash pad will reopen on Saturday, just in time for the weekend. Let's get back to the kitchen. Check in again with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher. It is smelling good over there, Judy.
A little bit like Thanksgiving, right? So I just took the pan out that has the sweet Italian sausage and the wedges of red onions. You can see how beautiful it looks, right? All the bright color right there. The kale only has to go back on top and in the oven for about 5 minutes. If you do see a lot of excess fat from the sausage, you can just grab your spoon in the corner and pull it out, but it shouldn't be that much, and some moisture is good for it. So what we're going to do next is I have 4 beaten eggs. To this, we're slowly going to add about 2½ cups of chicken stock. Now, always have some extra chicken broth available. Sometimes I buy the smaller ones in case I need a little bit for extra moisture on top. Okay, so once that's mixed in, we're going to do another little pinch of crushed red pepper, and just a pinch, some more garlic salt and poultry seasoning. Then we're going to take our bread and the sourdough bread, nice rustic loaf. So you're going to get that crust in there. You don't want soggy bread when you're making stuffing. That's really important. Whether you call it dressing or stuffing, that's the key. So along with that, we'll just go ahead and scatter these chopped Granny Smith apples, peeled. If you don't have Granny Smith, you can use like a John Gold or a Honeycrisp. McIntosh is a little bit too soft and will tend to make it mushy. So we're in good shape with this. What we're going to do is just kind of let that bread soak in just for a moment and then give it a really good stir. So then we're going to take this. It's all kind of coming together moisture-wise, and we're going to pour that all over. Now let me move this bowl so you can see it directly from here. Okay, so I'll just grab my pot holder. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little dot of butter on it. Again, that delicious Irish butter that's going to make it taste so rich and delicious. We're going to cover it with foil or parchment. I'm just using parchment paper. I'm sure it's better for you. And sometimes with aluminum foil, it almost makes the heat too high. So push that down just gently. It's going to go in the oven for 30 minutes. And then when we pull it out, we'll take it uncovered for another 30. And we are ready for our first practice run of stuffing for Thanksgiving.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself. Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888 8-SPARKY.
Blue 32, Blue 32, hut hut! It's the Gettle Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gettle dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gettle location near you or visit Gettle.com.
Gettle's got it.
Helping families with mesothelioma is all we do. My firm has been offering a free book on mesothelioma for over 10 years. Since that time, hundreds of people with mesothelioma have trusted us to represent them. We have local offices throughout the U.S. and there is no risk to you. Mesothelioma really is all we do. Call us at 1-800-485-6000. That's 1-800-485-6000. Or go to mesoonlylaw.com.
Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Forester is an IIHS top safety pick for 12 years running. And right now, you can lease a new Subaru Forester for just $229 a month or get 0% financing with zero down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hello, I'm Jess Dowdrick.
And I'm Ray Collins at Sarasota Police Department's virtual tag-along tomorrow.
We'll tell you how you can take part in the newest installment of Tweet from the Beat with their traffic unit tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
Warm weather continues here on the Suncoast under the influence of a big ridge of high pressure, but later in the week might have a cold front. We'll talk about that.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you. Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blog, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Yeah, 87-degree air temperature. We have a dew point value of 75, so it's a warm, sticky afternoon with feels like temperatures already getting close to 100. It'll probably be at 100 before it's all said and done with a daytime high of about 92. That runs about 8 degrees above the average, 7 or 8 degrees above the average for this time of year, and only with a 10% chance of a cooling afternoon shower. We stay warm right through the evening time, as that dew point value is still kind of high, so that'll kind of hang on to that heat just a little bit longer than we normally might see at this time of the year. At this time of year, we normally would cool off a lot faster because we have lower dew points, and oftentimes at this time of year, we notice fall progressing by first our nighttime temperatures getting a little cooler because the sun angle's a little lower, and so our daytime highs, while they're supposed to be in the mid-80s, it's at night that we really start to cool off pretty quickly once the heating of the day goes away and the dry air just doesn't retain the heat as well. But that's not the case today. Nothing in the way of any kind of rainfall across our region right now. Everything's pretty quiet in that regard. A few scattered showers down in the Florida Straits and what looks to be a little bit of chaff being released by military for some exercises down there outside of Key West as well. Back to the west, that's where the rain showers are, and boy, there's a lot of them. Some heavy rain potential falling in Texas and also in Louisiana, Alabama, all the way up really into Kentucky and Tennessee. These areas outlined here in green, that's where you had some flash flood warnings, some river warnings as well as the potential for some urban flooding as well, because of the heavy rain falling around that area of low pressure. There's a stalled frontal boundary, and it's just not moving all that fast, but that little area of low pressure will kind of ride like a car on a railroad track along that stalled frontal boundary, which isn't going anywhere, so those showers kind of lift off to the north and to the east. While we enjoyed this big ridge of high pressure sitting over us and providing us with a sinking dome of air, not allowing the clouds to rise and produce rain showers. That's how you get it to rain. You make warm, moist air rise, cool, condense, and produce rain. But that's not happening today. Also aloft, there's some drier air in place that's going to limit the number of storms that can be produced. Humid today at the surface and very warm with that feels like temperature up near 100. And mostly dry conditions across the state, except in the southern tip. We might see a few more showers there from about Fort Lauderdale southward down through the Florida Keys. Potential for some showers down there. There is some cold air in the United States. In fact, a lot of the United States in the 40s at this time. But boy, you jump over that stalled front, and that's where you get into the warmer air. Where do you think this chance of severe storms is today? Right along that stalled frontal boundary. That's where it is, between the cold air and the warm, humid air in the south. That's the collision zone that'll create the potential for some thunderstorms and even a small risk for some stronger storms as well with a little upper level support. For us, we just have that chance of seeing an isolated shower, maybe an isolated thunderstorm, but more likely just a shower. This dry air indicated here by tan on the water vapor imagery is a feature that will be with us most of the week. Get little ripples coming through that'll enhance our rainfall chance from time to time, particularly Friday and again on on Sunday or Monday. But for the most part, we stay pretty dry this week. South wind coming in at 5 to 10. Nice day for boating, though. Light chop out there. We'll look for a daytime high of 92 with a 10% chance of showers. Another little backdoor front on Friday, but not much cooler air, just an enhanced rainfall chance. Then on Sunday into Monday, another front comes through. That does have a chance of rainfall with it, and certainly some cooler air as well. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. For decades, most major retailers have been ignoring the plus-sized clothing market, but now it's become a $21 billion industry. As Kim Hutcherson shows us, Walmart is now joining a growing list of stores finally catering to shoppers size 12 and above.
The old stigmas about plus-size shopping are melting away, forcing retailers and designers to shift their attitudes.
We're kind of alienated when it comes to fashion.
Walmart is the latest retailer to announce it's expanding its plus-size clothing selection, citing statistics showing more than half of U.S. women aged 18 to 65 wear a size 14 or higher. Last week, Walmart bought plus-size clothing brand Eloquii, which makes clothes exclusively for women size 14 and above. The editor of Plus Size magazine tells retailers ignoring plus-size women and men, they're leaving money on the table.
Well, I guess, making money is not part of your formula then.
Walmart isn't the only retailer paying attention. Old Navy announced it's bringing its formerly online-only plus-size collection to 75 stores. J. Crew is also tapping into the market. It's expanding sizes on fall and winter fashion collections. And Nordstrom says it's adding more 14, 16, and 18 size choices, and that they'll feature a more inclusive range of mannequins. And Kohl's is scheduled to launch a plus-size brand called Every next spring.
As a business person, I'm saying, how could you not want to offer your clothing to plus-size women when we are 65% of American women?
For Consumer Watch, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
Dating sites are being forced to pay up. The company that owns Christian Mingle, JDate, and other online dating sites will repay users nearly $1 million. That's for automatically renewing subscriptions or denying requested refunds. It's also paying a $500,000 fine. Still to come in your Suncoast News, we'll check in one more time in the kitchen with Chef Judy, and then a look at Roseanne Barr's exit from the spin-off called The Conners. We'll see where her TV family goes from here.
Excuse me a minute. Hi, Dad. No, don't try to get up.
Hi, I'm Julie, a right-at-home caregiver. And if I'd been caring for Tom's dad, I would have noticed some dizziness that could lead to balance issues. That's because I'm trained to report any changes in behavior, no matter how small. So Tom could have peace of mind.
We'll be right there. We have to go.
Hey, Tom, you should try Right at Home. They're great for us.
The right care, right at home.
If you don't want to fall immediately into love, look away. If you don't want to awaken a desire for excellence, look away. If you don't want to be seduced, please look away.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and coinsurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans, and prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits. You get all this coverage for a $0 monthly plan premium in most areas, and Humana has a large network of doctors and hospitals. So call or go online today. Find out if your doctor is part of the Humana network and get your free decision guide. Discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. There is no obligation and the book is free.
WWSB ABC7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now. Get local news and information from the team you trust. Like ABC7 WWSB on Facebook to stay connected to the Suncoast.
It's a smart way because
Yeah.
I tend to try out all my recipes on a dinner party, and I'm told by my wife, not a good idea, but here you are practicing in advance.
So that's it, because my niece, Michelle Tonini, makes the best stuffing. But, you know, I want to have lots of variety and different things to show people. And I love stuffed chicken breasts any time of year. So you bring this all together. So if you want to do a sausage stuffing, practice it, see how you might adjust it, and you are ready to go with that. And then, of course, next week, each week, I'll be moving closer to the big
Trying out
event.
things? Yeah, great idea. This is a good one. Recipe on our website, mysuncoast.com. You might want to use this one on Big Turkey Day, but it's good any time of year, like Judy says. Check it out. Dining link button on our dining page. Thanks, Judy.
Thanks.
Scott?
Thank you both. In entertainment news, Stephen Hawking's posthumous book is out today, and it has lots of warnings about artificial intelligence. The book is titled Brief Answers to the Big Questions. In it, Hawking wrote about the rising advances in AI and the importance of placing restrictions on it to control how quickly it grows. The legendary physicist also wrote about researching and understanding the impact artificial intelligence can have on humanity, as well as advances to manipulating DNA, or what he calls self-designed evolution. Hawking passed away in March. Tonight we'll see if the Conners can survive without Roseanne. ABC's new sitcom was built out of the wreckage left behind from the rebooted Roseanne's cancellation after the main star, Roseanne Barr, made racist remarks and was fired. Now the Conners follows the life of the family without the matriarch, who are now trying to adjust to major changes in their lives. You can see it tonight right here on ABC7. And we hope to see you again at 4 o'clock. We're not having any delicious food in our kitchen at that hour, though. We'll miss you at that hour. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day ahead, and we hope to see you later on.